Hey guys. Sometimes I just need a pep talk. I just need a pep talk. Sometimes I'm maybe having a hard day or things aren't going the greatest or I'm not full of energy, and I would just love someone to put in my pocket who would just compliment me all day, who would say all the right things about me, who would just be in my ear saying how wonderful I am instead of all the that we hear so much, right? So I have given myself a little pep talk from the Word of God, and I wanted to give it to you too. So it's from Luke 12. It's just two tiny verses, Luke 12, verses 6 and 7, and it's Jesus talking, which is always awesome. It says, "What is the price of 5 sparrows? 2 copper coins? Yet God does not forget a single one of them, and the very hairs of your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. You are more valuable to God than a whole flock of sparrows." I just love those two little verses. First of all, God doesn't forget a single sparrow. That's incredible. He cares for them. He knows them. He doesn't forget a single one of them, even though it's obviously they weren't very valuable in that time. You could get 5 of them for 2 copper coins, not very much, but they were important to God, which is that in of itself is so beautiful that it doesn't matter the value that a culture or an economic system or someone's value system places on a certain thing or a certain individual. It's God's opinion that matters. And I love that it's so individual. The very hairs of your head are all numbered. Have you ever heard that? Like, God knows the number of hairs on your head, and wondered, is that in the Bible? Is somebody just making that up and telling me that? It's really in the Bible. God knows how many hairs are on your head. And, that may not sound like the most exciting thing, but it is so exciting because it's so individual. The number of hairs on my head are not the same as the number of hairs on your head. And we would never even take the time to figure that out. But God knows us both. God knows the number of hair on your head. God knows the number of hairs on my head. And He is that specific in His love for us. He's that specific in the knowledge of the detail of our lives. And the great thing is that He knows all those details about you. And maybe you don't care if God or anyone else knows the number of hairs on your head, but it's so beautiful because God goes further than that. He knows every detail about you for your whole life and loves you. You're valuable to Him. In fact, it says you're more valuable to God than a whole flock of sparrows. And He already said how valuable sparrows were to Him. So whether you think sparrows are valuable or not, irrelevant. God thinks they're valuable. And doesn't matter what maybe some inside your head chatter or some outside in the world chatter or whatever kind of hard chatter you've been listening to, let me give you some good chatter. And I'm not making it up. It comes straight from the Bible. So I'm giving you a pep talk, but I'm giving you the best kind of pep talk, one that is absolutely 100% true from the Word of God. He loves you. He knows the hairs on your head. He's numbered them. That's how crazy in love with you He is. He cares about everything. And He's that into you specifically as an individual because you are so different than anyone else on this planet. He loves you specifically. This is not a general sense kind of thing. This is a very specific, very individual love that God has for you, that God has for me, that God has for every one of us. And you're valuable. You're valuable to Him. If no one has told you that today, this week, this month, this year, let me tell you from God, you are valuable to Him. You matter to Him. You mean something to Him. You mean a lot to Him. He has plans for you. He has plans to prosper you and not to harm you. He has plans to give you a hope and a future. He has an expected end from you. That's another Bible verse. That's Jeremiah 29:11. God says that about us. That's the kind of God we have. He planned things for us. He has a whole life that He wants for us to live with Him. And you are so, so valuable to Him. So I hope that encourages your heart today. I hope that encourages you to just, say thanks. Thanks that I'm so valuable. Thanks for thinking of me like that, God. And get to know Him, because I'm telling you, once you get to know God, you're just going to be just as crazy for Him. You're going to be crazy for Him. You're going to be wild about Him. You're going to be mad about Him. And you can start there. Luke 12, 6 and 7. What is the price of 5 sparrows? 2 copper coins? Yet God does not forget a single one of them. And the very hairs on your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. You are more valuable to God than a whole flock of sparrows. I hope that encourages you today. I'll talk to you soon.